Hello, today we finished our previous case. Now we are starting a new case. By the way, I also want to mention the following. All these cases are anonymous. In other words, they have no connection to reality. I want to let our viewers know this as well. Have you ever thought while driving, I wish I could have a small accident, not a big one, not fatal, but have you ever wished, if only I could spend a week in the hospital? Just so that life would pause for a while and people would stop asking things from you? The case we're going to discuss today is exactly in this state of mind. From the outside, everything looks perfect. Their career is at its peak, the pride of the family, the crisis manager of their friend group, the first number everyone calls when there's a problem. They never say no. They never say they're tired. But inside, it's a completely different story. When this person lies in bed at night, instead of finding peace, they're searching for a socially acceptable excuse to take a break, like getting sick, breaking a bone, or having a minor accident, because they believe the only way they deserve to rest is if they're forced to. Isn't this a really frightening contradiction? Why would someone whom everyone thinks is as strong as a rock secretly dream of losing their strength and being confined to bed? What is this person like? What's their problem?
So, as you mentioned, there's probably a belief coded into their subconscious. Even if they're not aware of it, this person probably has a belief like, only when I'm forced to can I receive attention. What do you think?
That's exactly what it's saying, actually. It's as if there's a harsh code in their mind. If I'm on my feet, I have to carry the burden. Only if I fall, only if I collapse, do I deserve to rest. Because otherwise, asking for help when you're perfectly fine feels to them like being spoiled or selfish. Isn't this a really harsh conditional acceptance? So, do these people really have to be bleeding somewhere in order to be loved or shown compassion?
Of course not. As you know, in Greek mythology, during the war between the Titans and the gods, Atlas was the commander-in-chief of the Titans. When he lost the war to the gods, Zeus punished him by making him carry the celestial sphere. Honestly, I find this quite similar to this person's story. That reaction he gave, the thought of, I wish I had an accident so I would have to stay in bed for a week, now shows us something. He can't handle this situation. He's in a state of rebellion. Of course, this is something he has learned. No one, absolutely no one, ever needs to be bleeding, gravely sick, or become an unfortunate victim in order to genuinely receive compassion. But of course, unfortunately, and quite sadly, this is a profound and difficult lesson he has learned through harsh experience. Now, please pay close attention to this. Our subconscious beliefs and thoughts. We can only discover what these are after various moments of awareness. For example, in this case, the person I mentioned is not aware of this. He has learned it and is applying it in his life. But on the other hand, it's also very exhausting and wearing for him. What do we understand from the sentence of rebellion? The thought of, let me lie down, get sick, let somewhere bleed so that no one asks anything from me, and instead shows me compassion, has now started to emerge as a form of rebellion?
Actually, he's a bit tired. In fact, maybe not just a little, but because he had to stay so strong for so long, he's become extremely exhausted.
So what's happening here? Atlas is carrying the sky on his shoulders. His head is bowed. He carries the weight of the whole world on his shoulders. But he can't hug anyone, can't ask anything from anyone, and he also has his own fears and anxieties. He has this belief that if he lets go of the celestial dome, the world will end, the sky will fall to the earth. Naturally, we see this in people who hold such thoughts and beliefs. In other words, there's a very strong belief that if they let go of their responsibilities, if they stop running after everyone, things won't go right or something will collapse. But of course, it's not healthy.
So, they think that everything will go wrong the moment they let go, right?
Yes, exactly.
So what should this person do?
So what should they do? Actually, there's no need to do anything drastically different. It's okay to prioritize yourself too. Someone might enjoy helping the people around them, doing good things for them. They might also be getting an inner sense of satisfaction from this. They might also be tolerating their fears and anxieties. If it's the second case, meaning if we're making choices dominated by our fears and anxieties, again on a subconscious level, here, of course, we want our viewers to constantly reflect on themselves, and we want to take them on a kind of subconscious journey. If they're in a situation where their fears and anxieties are dominant, they should turn inward and take a look at themselves. What are they actually afraid of? Is it being rejected? Is it being excluded? Or, I don't know, maybe they've taken on the responsibility for a lot of things. For example, maybe they're involved in a project and have really internalized it, embraced it. They're in the middle of a process. the project getting delayed or going badly. By the way, when I say project, I could also mean a marriage, or I don't know, it could be motherhood or fatherhood. It could be things like that related to work. I mean, it could also be things related to professional life. What kinds of fears and anxieties come up here? If I don't make up for the shortcomings, the project or process will be disrupted, something bad will happen, and I won't be able to fix it. Actually, there might be a bit of perfectionism underlying this, you see? Take a moment to reflect on yourself. Again, perfectionism might be underlying this, or, as in the first case, you might simply enjoy doing good. If the good deeds we do are met with approval and appreciation, and this gives us a deep sense of satisfaction, like when people say, Yeshim is such a good person, so helpful, so strong, and hearing these things fulfills us.
There's something underlying this.
Exactly, that's it. If we're trying to carry the weight of the whole world on our shoulders, then there's an imbalance here. So what should we do in this situation? We need to confront ourselves a little, actually. In these situations, what are we indirectly teaching the people around us over time? By getting involved in everything and taking on responsibility for all the processes, what are we teaching?
You're very strong.
Yes.
You can handle everything.
Yes.
And at this point, not everyone will be by my side when I'm strong. Because I'm strong.
You don't need any help. What are we teaching? You're strong, you can handle it. Yes. Or, I don't know, like when I'm in a tight spot, I can easily ask you for help. So why should I bother? I'll just ask you for help, right?
Yes.
That's what we're teaching. In both cases, whether it's driven by fear and anxiety or by a sense of inner satisfaction, as you said, we end up teaching the people around us that we are strong, and therefore that strong people don't need help. Or we teach them that they can easily ask us for things or lean on us for support. Then they start acting more comfortably around us. So in a way, we are the ones shaping our relationships like this. It's like something needs to be done. Who will do it? The strong person. Yeah, let's tell them and they'll handle it. So even though you didn't want your mission in life to be like this at first, the people around you started assigning you this mission. In other words, you're creating your own pit of hell here.
By the way, I actually have an example I can give for this. Very recently, the older sister of a friend of mine, since I'm studying psychology, everyone kind of wants to talk to me as if I'm a psychologist. And I can't say no. I don't want to say no either. She's a very dear person. She's married, has kids, and is currently going through tough times. In other words, she's going through a problematic period in her life. But until she grew up, her sibling was disabled. Because she always had to stand strong behind her sibling, always had to stay upright. Now that she's struggling, everyone tells her, no, you're very strong, and we don't need to be there for you right now. In fact, she literally told me, I don't want to be strong.
Yes.
We can actually use this as an example for this video, because she used that exact sentence with me, and at that moment, I really understood her very well. Right now, she's supporting this.
Look, when people like that feel like they're about to fall, they experience an incredible sense of insecurity because they don't know that place. They've always learned to stay on their feet. They've trained their mind that way. What happens if I fall? They don't know that place. So they feel incredibly insecure. A sense of rebellion emerges. Now, what came up in our case here? How did rebellion manifest itself as a thought and belief? Like if only you had an accident so you could just lie down for a while.
If only I could lie down for a week and no one would expect anything from me.
Yes, look, now you see how your brain's reasoning ability gets impaired, right? Now, never forget this. Look, if our reasoning ability is getting impaired in our brain, we need to take a step back and look at ourselves from the outside from time to time. So, if such thoughts and beliefs are forming in our minds, when we look at ourselves from the outside, we should realize this, right? What am I even thinking? Do I really need this?
At some point, this is actually a functional loss too. This thought.
Yes, I mean,
it's not healthy.
It's not healthy. At this point, if it's not healthy, we need to turn the situation into a healthy one. We need to look at why I want this. That will naturally follow anyway. Why do I want this? Because I'm really tired. Why am I so tired? Well, I'm running around for everything. Why am I running around for everything? Well, I don't know. I have fears. Or maybe I like being at the center of things. It will end up being something like that anyway. So what does that mean? Should we either face our fears and get rid of them, or should we choose not to be at the center of everything so much? After that, our process starts to take shape anyway, towards being healthy. If we can do these things, if we can integrate them into our lives, Of course, if we can look at ourselves from a rational perspective, because our fears and anxieties are strong. All right? Or we generally tend to automatically choose the things we're used to. These are strong. Trying to break away from these and do something different is something we will find strange at first. But we need to stay resilient and determined. For example, in our training, they gave us this example. For example, they told us to cross our arms. How do you cross them? I cross them like this. All right? Then they explicitly told us to do it in the completely opposite way. Like, for instance, I'll put this particular one on top and this one underneath, for example. Even this movement feels strange to me. Look, I feel like I'm doing something I'm not used to. I even struggle while doing it. I get confused. But if I stay determined about changing my behavior, and of course, first we need to make sure that this is the right thing to do, because that's what will give us our determination and motivation. After all, we also need to know what we're aiming to achieve. If I stay determined, the balance in my life will shift toward being healthier. I mean, none of us are Atlas after all. We're not carrying the sky on our shoulders. We're not gods or titans either. We're human. That's our nature. When we feel powerless, we need to recognize this. It means that this thing is getting too heavy for me now, or maybe I just don't have the ability to handle that much of it. It needs to be balanced.
What we've been talking about also reminded me of something. The phrase, "the world keeps turning without you."
Yes.
I'm sure that for many of our viewers watching right now, this sentence has both hurt them and hopefully lightened the burden on their shoulders a little. Friends, if you found a piece of yourself in the story of this unsung hero we talked about today, and if that feeling of not being able to rest unless you absolutely have to also felt familiar to you, please share it with us in the comments. To find out who first put this burden on your shoulders, in the next video, part 2, we'll play detective with your inner child at the scene of the crime. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss that episode. See you next week. Take good care of yourself and your boundaries.
See you